If you're trading or investing into Bitcoin right now and you feel confused, overwhelmed, or constantly second guessing yourself, it's probably because you're looking at the charts too much. In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 price action concepts I'm watching on Bitcoin's weekly time frame for the rest of this bull market. Just price action and clear structure. If you're new here, I'm Calvin. I focus on Bitcoin, crypto, and technical analysis, and I help people build conviction from facts and not feelings. Most people trading or investing in Bitcoin struggle not because Bitcoin is hard, but because they overcomplicate it. There's too many indicators, too many time frames, way too many opinions. Everything that I'm about to show you is based on price action and structure. I may use a simple indicator like a 50-day or 200-day EMA, but only as an easy way to visualize trend. This is how I stay calm during volatile markets and avoid emotional decisions. Okay, so the first concept is going to be trends. We are basically going to figure out which way is that asset going. So on the screen right now, I have Bitcoin, the US dollar index on the weekly time frame. And basically what we're going to try to find is which direction currently is the trend. And since we are on the weekly time frame, each one of these candlesticks is worth a week of basically data on buying and selling. So I'm trying to take it straight up to the basics. So currently we are here, January 2026, and this is our current cycle, or here's the last all-time high, and our current cycle is from about here to here. So taking just this section of data, are we trending up or are we trending down? So a trend is a bullish trend is a series of higher highs and higher lows. So starting from the very, very bottom, we went high, which, right, let me zoom in. Right here, we have a higher high right here, and then we have a higher low, and we have a higher high here, higher low, higher high, higher low. If you just follow these higher highs and higher lows, that creates a bullish trend, or I mean technically it's bullish structure. So we are essentially going up. And that's starting at 2023. And if we move on to closer, this is where people are a little scared. Let me do those drawings again. Right here is a big higher low. And then we got a big higher high here. We have a bigger higher low here. Let me go back to switching here. We have this one technically would be like a higher. I'm taking like big old reaches here. And then we technically have a higher low. So once price breaks and creates a lower low, so like this right here, I'm just going to use my cursor. This right here is a higher low currently. If we print another like sort of lower low down here, we definitely start getting a little bit more concerned about this current bull market. Okay, so the second concept that I wanted to show you guys is support and resistance. Again, this is technical analysis basics. Essentially, support is where buyers come in and move the price up, which acts like a support sort of like beam. Once it gets close, people buy and it moves the price up. And then resistance, it's more so like a ceiling. So once price gets to that area, people tend to sell around that area. So I will basically draw that on the chart for you guys. Okay, so I'm zooming pretty big. Again, we're on the Bitcoin weekly time frame. Our current candle is January 2026 and price is at 90K. So again, we're zooming out. Let's show sort of resistance first. So resistance is where, and we'll take the example of 2020 to the first 2021 rally. Basically, we're going to try to figure out where price goes high and then just starts dumping. So for this example, 2020 to 2021, it reached up around like, I'm gonna use like a box, probably like this area. I like to use wicks and I'm just gonna drag it to the right. And this is just going to be a resistance area where price tends to play around in and either will break through, or I forgot the term, respect. It'll respect it and then basically go the opposite way. So what happened here, and I'm just going to increase this because the last cycle we broke through it a little bit. This will be more of, I should name this resistance. Oops. Oh, okay, I was like, where the heck did it go? I lost my train of thought. Holy crap. Okay, so this is where price came up and then it sort of got rejected. And then that's where we got our bear market here from 2021 to 2022. And that was not fun. So we rallied up and then price was like, oh, that's too much. And the market started selling off. It sold off here. Let me delete this. It sold off over here. Maybe put like a arrow down, maybe like a thinner arrow down. It sold down here and then buyers stepped in, which you can see right here with these wicks. I'm going to start drawing like more of a support down here. Just here, just here. This would be, oops, support. Okay, cool. So it came up and buyers came in down here. It pushed the price up. Of course, we have like little intricacies down here, but it got up to a very, very high point where it's like, okay, we're nobody's gonna buy through there. And it rejected, which was resistance. And then it came down and then it fell until buyers were more comfortable to buy up Bitcoin. So they bought down here and then went back up and then it got rejected again. Again, we are zoomed out on the weekly time frame, so these support and resistance zones are really, really powerful. And then essentially, and I'm going to draw it even more so further out, we broke through and now this support became our new resistance, or yeah, resistance. It went down here. There's more people buying down here. I'm not trying to draw a bunch of support and resistance zones, but once support gets broken through, it turns into resistance, and then the opposite way. If resistance gets broken through, it turns into support. So, but it depends on where price is at. And we'll get to where we are currently, but I just want to show you support and resistance. So we break through, people bought down here, people bought down here, bought down here until we got tired, and then it started reversing. And then it got back up to now resistance, to the resistance area, and it sort of fought. Like people started selling, and then it was like, nah, 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 nah. Selling again. People are like, nah, 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 until it eventually broke through, and then it became support again. So I'm just going to use this as a larger time frame support. We have resistance until it broke through again. So this is now a longer time frame, or a larger time frame support. And then now we're sort of charting in like no man's land. So we don't know where a strong resistance is at. I would say we know where like a weaker resistance at, or where people will tend to sell, which is going to be this area. So this would be more so our resistance. And then we have support here. So right now in January of 2026, price could trend between these two support and resistance areas. So basically we're going to like ping pong down, or ping pong in between these two major support and resistance areas. Of course, we can draw more support layers, which could be like right here as support. It's going to be a little bit weaker, but it'll be more in like near term. There's more support like here. I'm just drawing some zones. This is all just from my trained eye. Yeah, these are all support areas where price would probably come down to, and then buyers could come in. But pretty sure that, or not pretty sure, more likely than not, once price comes up, people are going to tend to sell here unless there's a lot of buying pressure, which we would hopefully explode through and then test this as support once again. But in the near term, basically you want to combine all three of these concepts, but we know two now. We're going to do trend, which the trend is going to be your friend. We don't want to bet against it. And then, trend and then support and resist. So we have the general trend, it's going up, and these are possible areas where buyers will come in and support the price going up. So far, we're good. At least from what I'm seeing, bull market's cool. What I'm seeing through these concepts. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, and this third concept is going to be candlesticks. Again, this is a basic concept, but we're just going to use price action and structure just to see if we're good. So essentially, each of these candlesticks are a week's worth of data, and it's basically looking at the behavior of the market. And there are a lot of people that do like candlestick patterns. I don't normally trade with them. I just use them as like nice to haves. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That just builds a little bit more conviction about like what's happening. Okay, so each candlestick is going to be a bullish candlestick or a bearish candlestick, green or red, green for bullish, red, bearish. But that doesn't always tell if it's like good or bad. So I try to see what each candle is telling me. And yeah, just through the buys and sells. If you don't know what a candle is, let's do like a quick rundown of what it is. So essentially, if it's green, let me zoom into like just one candle. If it, we'll take this one. If it's green, price opened at this bottom area or this bottom of the body of the candle, and then it closed at it closed above the opening price. So let's say the week starts at, I think it's like Sunday 00 UTC time. It opened at, and I'm looking up here at this area or at this part of the screen. Let's see if I can get it. So it opened at essentially like 86,838, and then it closed at like around 90,383. So as long as at the end of the week price closes over, it's going to be green. And then anything in between, which you'll see these like little slivers here, those are called the wicks of the candle. And essentially, specifically for this candle, price went all the way up to this peak, and then it went all the way down to this bottom, and then like price just played around that area, but then where it opened and where it closed is like sort of, we look at it more so like the facts of like what happened. So this is all just like the story of it, and the body tells the facts. So if you see something like, let's see if we can find like an indecision candle. You're gonna basically, an indecision candle would have the wicks proportionally the same. It could be, or sorry, the wicks are proportionately the same, but then the body is like really, really slender, and it could be a green or red one. So as an example of that, it would be like this one right here. Let me see if I can just like circle it. Does this work? Oh, okay. So like this candle right here, and I'm just gonna use this little dotted line as like my cursor a little bit. So this is green. So it's only green because it opened down here and then it closed down or up here. So like very, very minuscule. It's still essentially 96,000. But it could, what am I saying? It could have, this one closed higher, but it could have also closed lower and it would have been a red candle. But I'm just trying to express that it doesn't matter the color, it's the story behind it. So a neutral candle, basically equal in the wicks, but the body is very slender. That's just the market going, okay, we like started off this week here at this price, 96, and went all the way up to, what is this, 99, and it went all the way down to 93. But at the end of the week, we basically ended up in the same place. That's basically the candle saying that this was like, the market has said that this is like neutral. This week was neutral. But if you look at these larger candles where the body is like super thick, and basically it, for a red candle, it opens up here and it closes down here. These super thick bodied ones, it's like, okay, that was a really, like, the market is saying we are hella selling, or opposite, we are hella buying. But then if you don't see a lot of movement, I want to say like just back at this neutral one. But if you see like this one, it sort of looks like a hammer. Basically, the story would be we started off the week here. It ended up here, but when we went down, let me circle this so this makes more sense. When people started selling down, a lot of people bought up. So you'll see these like larger wicks on the body when buyers are coming into the market and pushing price back up. So, okay, now to like combine things, let me zoom out and go back to more. I'm zooming the hell out of here. Okay, so let's use like this as an example, this area. So this was like March 2024 and September 2020, or March 2024 to September 2024, like around this time period. You'll see it like trending downwards a little bit, but right here, these like fat wicks where it's like we started the week here, but it's sold off. Everybody's probably during that week, everyone's like super scared. A lot of people came in and bought. So this is actually a good indicator that like people are pushing price up and like supporting that like we are not going any lower. Of course, we're looking in the past and it's super easy to look in the past, but we just use these fully printed candles, and I'll explain that real quick. A fully printed candle is a whole week like done, so Sunday to Sunday. Our current candle that we're on, this one is not like I wouldn't use this as information until 2 days and 1 hour from now. Once the candle actually prints, we'll use that as information, but we try to judge backwards. Okay, so what's happening currently right now? Right now, price fell October 2025 from 126K all the way down to, what is this, like 80K. And then once 80K like hit, people started buying. Yeah, essentially making a support. I'm just using that whole wick as support, using this as like support. So that's pretty much the concept that I wanted to show. So combining all three, I mean, I technically made a support area here. We still have the bullish trend ever since November 2022. We're going up, we're going up, we're going up, we're going up. Of course, there are going to be places where we sell off, but essentially the trend is going up. We haven't broken that trend yet. And we have all those areas of support that I drew previously. And then I just made one right here. So this is like more short term or like near term support. So price would come down here. Hopefully buyers come in and keep pushing the price up. But if not, that's when I'll probably concede my analysis. I'm wrong. But for now, we're still looking good. So yeah. So when you remove all of the noise in the market, Bitcoin doesn't need to be complicated. The trend gives you direction, support and resistance gives you structure, candles give you context. And that's it. The goal isn't to get rich quick. The goal is to build conviction from facts, enter when risk is managed, and leave the trade the moment you're for sure wrong. So if this helped you cut through the noise in Bitcoin, hit the like button so people can see it. And if you want weekly macro breakdowns like this, subscribe to the channel. I post these consistently. Have a good day.